Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Cupid. Yes, I know I am behind. I know I am very, very behind as far as things like the Cupid Draft League recap uh, are concerned. Now, I am very sorry about this. I've just been too busy with, being back to teaching and, like, streaming, and I've lately been trying to market myself and grow on Twitch and all that. Uh, and just not really had the time to record one of these. So, that being said, I have 3 recaps, I think, to record today. It might just be 2. I am not entirely sure. I have not done a thorough look through yet. That being said, as a result of me being so far behind, I am not really able to do all of our funny little pictures that we have been showing, or we showed in the first week. I am very sorry for this. That being said, going forward, after this current week, which is week 4, by the way, we should be going back to having the funny little recap pictures and whatnot. That being said, since I have so much to get done today, I think it's best that we just get straight into it, shall we? So, first things first, we have Rudes versus Waffles and Jelly. Now, this match was actually played before. This match was actually played before a lot of the week 1 matches were concluded. In fact, these two played the exact day that I uploaded the pairings. So, this is still this is a week 2 match, but this is basically a week 1 match, as far as, play is concerned. So, without further ado, I think it's time we just get started. So, Waffles and Jelly has a Xatu on his team, and I don't remember if, there was a problem with this week. I do remember that Waffles and Jelly at one point accidentally brought Xatu that he did not have on his team yet. So, yeah, we had to do something about that. Now, let's just get straight into the game, yeah? So we lead with Great Tusk, the strongest lead of all time. We lead with Mega Sceptile, we Mega Evolve, and we use Energy Ball, and the Great Tusk dies immediately. Very good play by Rudes. Sceptile is faster as well, and goes for Dragon Claw as opposed to Dragon Pulse, because that would kill the Dragapult, but it's okay, because the Dragapult doesn't go for a Dragon move, instead goes for a Fire move. Sceptile lives, and we pick up the kill on Dragapult 2 for free. In comes Ditto to intimidate the Mega Mawile, as Mega Mawile Mega Evolves and uses Hidden Power Fire, I believe that was. Now, I don't really think I need to explain the problem with Hidden Power Fire on a Mega Mawile, considering huge power doubles your physical attack and not your special attack, effectively giving Mawile an attack total of 660 without a Sword Stance. And after, Thunder Punch, Thunder Punch, Thunder Punch, Hidden Power Fire is not going to pick up the kill on Sceptile, and Sceptile's going to take no damage from Sucker Punch, which is absurd, and then pick up the kill with a Earthquake. Zapdos comes in to threaten out the Sceptile, and then Xatu comes in, as, this Zapdos is now soloing Waffles and Jelly's team. We get a Flare Blitz off with Talonflame, reducing the HP of this dramatically. We really should just go into Sceptile and use Dragon Claw at this point. But it's okay, because we have Honchkrow with Sucker Punch and Super Luck instead of Moxie. Now we're going to go for Nasty Plot in front of the Rock type that is super effective on us, get Salt Cured for our troubles, and we're going to go for Heat Wave, which is a Fire type attack on a Rock type. We're going to get Salt Cured again, and we die to another one, and we have successfully accomplished literally nothing. And now this thing's going to start setting up Iron defenses, and surely Waffles and Jelly is going to use a better move, and we use Psychic, on our physical attacker, Honchkrow. Now comes the Sceptile. Sceptile is going to get off an Energy Ball, which does major damage, and a second one is going to just kill the Gargonicle. And now we have Dragon Breath as opposed to an actually good move, and we are going to survive a Leaf Storm, but since, we have Dragon Breath instead of Dragon Pulse, that's not going to do enough damage, and we're going to die to a second Leaf Storm, and Rudes wins a battle that realistically, based on the play, could have gone either way, I'm not going to lie. Both of these players brought very interesting and very, in short, not good sets, and yeah, let's go ahead, just get straight into game 2 before I overthink it too much and upset myself. Alright, so, Next, we have a Gargonicle lead versus Xatu. Xatu's going to go for Reflect, as Gargonicle is going to go straight for Iron Defense. Xatu uses Giga Drain to accomplish very little damage. And now we're going to Power Swap to do what? What does Power Swap do? Hold on, I've never seen that move before. What does Power Swap do? Xatu switched all its changes to its attack and special attack with its target. This has been boosting its defense. Yikes. Okay, now we get Salt Cured for our troubles again. That's very good. Now we're going to keep going for Giga Drain, as this thing probably is going to just Body Press. It's Salt Cure, Iron Defense, Body Press, Recover. No Stealth Rocks here, so the Xatu really shouldn't still be in. And we don't even have, like, Guard Swap to steal the defense. We have Power Swap to steal the attack. Future Sight's going to hit, and honestly, unless we crit here with Giga Drain, this thing's going to kill us. Instead, you know, we go for Future Sight, which is the only move here that does absolutely nothing aside from letting this thing heal. And Waffles and Jelly does not seem to understand the concept of switching his Pokemon into a better matchup. Why are you still in with a Flying type against a Rock type? That is basic. That is literally first gym matchup knowledge. How do you not understand that this Xatu isn't going to accomplish anything here? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop, switch, please. Do something other than lose your Xatu for free. You've let this thing get up to ×4 defense, and it's at full HP, and your whole Xatu is dead. Look at that. Amazing, right? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is not going well for you. How have you not seen this problem? You accomplished ×4 defense and 80%. And now you're going to get outsped because your Ditto, for some reason, is not Choice Scarfed. And you're going to get outsped again. And now... What is this Ditto set? I am pissed. I am actually upset. What is this Ditto? You should never run anything other than Choice Scarf on your Ditto. I'm just saying it is the only correct answer is to run Choice Scarf, because now you're losing every speed tie and you're losing the 1v1 to this Gargonicle, which you should have killed in 2 hits with Body Press. And look at that. Look at that. You lose your whole Ditto for free? Well, not for free. I suppose you got 16% and now there is Salt Cure on this Garg. And now you finally go into the correct Pokemon, your Sceptile, and die in 1 hit because you let the Garg get all the way back to full HP. So you trade 3 Pokemon for a Gargonicle lead, and now Zapdos is going to proceed to use a Z move, bringing your Galvantula to its sash as you go for Hidden Power Ice, which honestly does less damage than Thunder here. I don't know why you wouldn't just click Thunder. But it's okay, because the rest of your team is also Flying type, and you just lose. So, yeah, Zapdos cleans up the rest of the team, because Waffles and Jelly lets Gargonicle get 50 kills for literally no reason, and in comes the Mega Mawile to use Thunder Punch, as opposed to Play Rough, and pick up the kill on the Honchkrow, giving Rudes a 2-0 win over Waffles and Jelly. Now, I've got to say, this was rough. I hope that we have better gameplay in the next matches, because that was unfortunate. Let's go ahead. Next, we have Shadow King versus Antkiller. Shadow King, remember, 7 water type draft. Antkiller, actually solid team. Especially in draft, I do like the Noivern. This is Greninja with the ability to be Protean or Battle Bond for 20 points. And there's also a Ferrothorn, and all of these Pokemon are quite solid. Hatterene's also a decent Pokemon, and Porygon is just bulky beyond bulky. So we have set up Rain Lead because, you know, we have 4 water types here, and that's a Ferrothorn, so we need to set up Rain, clearly. After the Power Whip miss on the switch, we go into Seismitoad and get off a free Earth Power, which does little to no damage to this Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is now going to continue to whip. Antkiller misses a second Power Whip in 3 turns because he is bad at the game and has bad RNG. And Noivern's going to now come in on Earthquake because we do not want this thing to set up. Now we go into Noivern, we use Boom Burst. Boom Burst does less than half, which makes me think that maybe this Crocodile might have been Assault Vest. And then we go for Draco, pick up the kill, and we decide to sack our Noivern after getting an air slash flinch. And I'm not sure why Shadow King chose not to Mega Evolve on turn 1, but it's okay. You know, the Mega Evolution happens in the second turn. In comes the Gunk, which is the Protean, or no, it's actually Battle Bond Greninja, and I'm pretty sure this just wins the battle at this point. And now it's going to use Gunk Shot, and, you know, I understand, you know, Antkiller wanted me to make the meme from the first video with the Gunk Shot thing, but tragically I'm just too far behind schedule for that, so as a result we are going to not exactly show that meme at the moment because I don't remember what I have it hotkeyed to, and I wanted to make a new one for every week. Anyway, this thing is now belly drummed, and Antkiller is still faster, has Water Shuriken, picks up the kill, and yeah, all of these water types cannot beat the opposing water type. And we have Rest from Politoed, so at least we didn't get, you know, completely swept by it. And in comes the Porygon with the name Mangekyo, because it literally just spammed the same move over and over again last battle. And look at what it's doing again. It is using the Mangekyo Sharingan, and it's using Thunderbolt, and it's using Thunderbolt, and it's using Thunderbolt. And Antkiller gets game 1 pretty convincingly, I would say. That is the problem when you have 7 water types in your draft and no Pokemon that hits Ferrothorn for super effective. That being said, it wasn't even really Ferrothorn that won the battle. I mean, Ferrothorn did nothing here, but we allowed an Ash Greninja to get off an Ash Greninja. So, that's not very good. But it's okay. We have the next battle now. The next battle is Crocodile Lead versus Ferrothorn this time. Crocodile goes for Bulk Up, we're trying to get up those stats, and Power Whip crits and kills the Crocodile immediately, and that crit absolutely mattered, because that thing would not have killed you, provided it didn't crit. Now we go for a Scald, trying to get a burn, we don't get a burn, Ferrothorn's gonna whip it again, and now we're gonna get close combated and die to the power of Choice Banded Barraskewda. And at this point, we can go into a lot of things here. Close combat, we are ×4 resisting that, but Shadow King has no real answers to a Hatterene. And now we're going to pick up the kill with Giga Drain. And now Seismitoad's going to come in, use Sludge Wave, not kill the Hatterene, and Hatterene's going to pick up the kill with Giga Drain. Heal nearly to full. And now we go into Gardevoir, and these two Pokemon struggle with killing each other. Hyper Voice is used, Hatterene uses Shadow Ball. That does a little bit over half, but we are slower, so Hatterene is going to faint here. And at this point, Greninja wins the game. So, very, very cool. Second game, very cool. And yeah, I mean, honestly, you gotta do something about the amount of water types on your team, Shadow King. I don't know if you're paying any attention to the recaps or the league itself, but you gotta do something about the amount of water types on your team. You can't win like that. You can't just use water types and only water types like that. You're never gonna win like that. You can't win like that. So, yeah, tragically, for Shadow King, yeah, too many water. 7.8 out of 10, too many water types. And Antkiller gets the 2-0 victory. Next game, we have Ryevji versus Feytirical. Ryevji with a very spooky looking team. We have 2 whole legendaries and a Tyranitar. Meanwhile, Feytirical, you know, got the cat. So let's see how this goes. We have Type Null Lead versus Gyarados. Gyarados is going to Thunder Wave. Tri-Attack is used. It does decent damage, I guess, but it was a crit, so realistically that's non-existent damage. And this Gyarados is just, you know, Thunder Wave, Paralyze, and then we're gonna use some good moves. Now Meowscarada comes in to knock off the thing, and thanks to Protean, it loses its grass typing and doesn't die to X-Scissor, and now we're gonna get off some bonus knockoffs for fun. In comes Entei, picks up the kill with Sacred Fire. Goodra's gonna come in, and we go for Sacred Fire again, as opposed to Earthquake, or like a fighting move, or, you know, something super effective against Gudra. Now we're going to go into Tyranitar. Gudra's going to use a Flash Cannon. Tyranitar's going to pick up the kill with Earthquake. Gyarados comes back in. We got to be scared of Waterfall. I guess we just don't care if we're Ryevji. And we get Waterfall flinched. Now we get Thunder Waved, which I don't know why Fatirical didn't just attack. But luckily for Ryevji, or for Faye, I suppose, our Tyranitar gets put out of its misery by Gyarados' Rocky Helmet. And then it gets off another Thunder Wave on the Toucannon, and Rocky Helmet is going to be an absolute disaster. Toucannon is going to die immediately to Mega Magnetric, and at this point we really should have gone into Latios, but it's okay, because we have a Mimikyu that's, I assume, going to use a Z move. Yeah. And does this kill? It does. Okay, very cool. The Magnetric goes down, and this Latios can't really beat a Sylveon that's in the back. You can't really see it, it's behind my head. But there is a Sylveon there. And now the Mimikyu is using Leech Life, which is... Do I need to explain why using a move that is ×4 resisted on an Arcanine is a bad idea? Do I need to explain that? Anyway, Hyper Voice is used. This is a Pixelate Sylveon with Throat Spray, and we are still using Tri-Attack for some godforsaken reason, and Ryevji is going to die to a second Hyper Voice. Faye gets the 1-0 victory with the Sylveon in the back in Game 1. Let's see how Game 2 goes. This time we have the Bull, Tauros, is there, and Faye brought the exact same 6 Pokemon. So we have Entei lead this time versus the Arcanine, and instead of going for Earthquake, we just switch and let our Latios nearly die to a Head Smash, and then die to Extreme Speed Follow-Up. If this were a Banded Arcanine, this would absolutely win the game. But instead, we go for Will-O-Wisp on the Tyranitar, and still die to ×4 super effective Earthquake that we knew the Tyranitar had from the last game. Now Gyarados is going to come in, and Ryevji seems to have learned his lesson. Intimidate Tauros comes in to get off an Intimidate, and Gyarados paralyzes it for its trouble. In comes Toxic Intimidate Tauros on Gudra switch, and now we go for a high horsepower, picking up half of the HP, and we are still faster despite the fact that we are paralyzed. So thanks to that, Gudra now dies to a second high horsepower, and this Tauros has non-existent special defense. Meowscarada is going to come in, use Knockoff, pick up the kill. And at this point, we really should have gone into the Entei, because Meowscarada doesn't really have anything to deal with that. But it's okay, because Sylveon comes in, does not survive. I thought it was going to survive, Let's Snuggle Forever, but it did not. And instead of trying to boost up on this Gyarados that we know has a Rocky Helmet and Thunder Wave, we are going to just go raw play rough. Take Rocky Helmet Chip, get paralyzed. Now we go for Destiny Bond, which is a awful move that you should not be using. Especially when your opponent is on a Rocky Helmet Gyarados that is bulky. Because unless your opponent kills you that turn, don't use Destiny Bond. Like, you need to know what your opponent is going to do. And if you don't know what your opponent is going to do, clicking Destiny Bond is literally a wasted turn. And wasted turns in singles are atrocious. This Gyarados with Thunder Wave has caused so many problems for these first two opponents when all you have to do is click an electric type attack. Anyway, Mega Magnetric comes in, goes for a Thunderbolt. We are Eviolite type Null, very, very bulky. And let's see if we can get off maybe a Toxic. No, we're just using attacks. Because, you know, our type Null doesn't actually 1v1 anything, despite the fact that it is super bulky, because its attack stat is non-existent. That Paralyze hurt, but it didn't really matter all that much, because now Entei is going to have to take a Thunderbolt regardless, and Meowscarada is going to come in, be faster, and kill us with Knockoff, giving Faye the win. Honestly, not that bad, I wouldn't say, at least on Fatirical's part. Ryevji, you gotta click better moves. You gotta look at your Pokemon's moveset and click better moves. You need to do that. You gotta click better moves. That's all I have to say. Click better moves. Alright, next, Just Zera versus Apples versus Best, also, or Apples equals Best, also known as Bento Box. Okay, so we have #1 Aggron fan plus Sneasler enjoyer versus, honestly, just a pretty solid team. Solid all around. Solid rocks, brother. Solid Lycanroc, brother. Alright, next, we have this game. Alright, so we have Flygon lead here versus a Jolteon. I don't know if this game won, but Bento immediately switches into Pelipper, so we do not get Earth-powered and die by Scarf Flygon. Pelipper is going to get off an Ice Beam, trying to kill the Flygon, but honestly, we should have known that that switch was coming. Now Slowking's going to change the weather to snow, and switch out. Aggron's going to be in. We're going to Mega Evolve and go for Heavy Slam on a resisted Vikavolt, as it's going to now just Volt Switch out. Flygon's going to come in, presumably to click the move Earth Power, but instead it goes for Hidden Power of some variety, and Aggron just goes for Ice Punch. Now, if we did not overpredict, that Ice Punch would not have done anything, but it's okay, because Valiant actually comes in, and we're applying pressure, and we pick up a kill with Close Combat. In comes the Sneasler with a Poison-type attack, and obviously the Corviknight switch should be obvious there, but Bento does not predict that. And now we go for an all-out... No, we go for Continental Crush. I don't know why we would ever go for Continental Crush against Zera's team, considering, you know, all-out pummeling is just better. Like, what are you trying to catch with the Rock-type Z move? I don't understand. But it's okay. Bento's prep is Bento's prep. So now we have Slowking, and we have Low Kick's U-turn back into Sneasler. Sneasler takes no sorts of damage from that Sludge Bomb, and Corviknight's going to come back in. Did we click the free close combat? No, we clicked U-turn, which is probably better. Jolteon's going to come in. There's no ground type here, but you take a Future Sight, which you had to be careful of. Jolteon really should have just clicked an electric type attack here. Luckily it did. And Lycanroc's going to come in, presumably to an Accelerock, and we are going to we are going to basically sacrifice our Pelipper to Accelerock, because priority rock move is priority rock move. And now at this point, Bento needs to not sack the remainder of his team to priority rock move. We go into Sneasler, we go close combat on the switch. It does not pick up the kill on Vikavolt. However, we do have a rock move that we just need to hit, and we do. So this is very, very good, as, you know, the amount of switch-ins to Jolteon have been removed. So Jolteon at this point can win the game, provided it is in an opportune position. Bento goes for Protect for no explainable reason on the Iron Valiant. And then we have a Spirit Break, presumably predicting the switch, but, you know, Bento recognizes that Florges will live this, and just goes for Moonblast, picking up the kill, which is the correct play. Now at this point, we just need to not lose to Accelerock in the back. We sack our Florges to Iron Head, which is honestly fair. Sneasler comes in, Accelerock's not going to kill, and Sneasler is faster. And we still have a Jolteon in the back for this Corviknight. Now all we need to do is not fumble the bag so hard that Zera wins this game. And we have a Drill Peck on the kill here, and Bento, for some godforsaken reason, goes into Lycanroc, which is the worst possible play he could have made. Sorry, my tracking's doing weird stuff because of the lighting in my room. I have fixed that, though. And yeah, it's just really, really bad, because Bento is going to let the Corviknight heal to full, and, you know, I bet you guys are watching this battle and you're thinking the same thing I am thinking. Wow, Bento is an idiot. Why would you ever play with your food like this? But it's okay, because, you know, even a caveman could have clicked Thunderbolt on the last Pokemon and figured out how to win that one. So Bento gets game 1. Let's see how game 2 goes. I really hope to see an adaptation from Zera, because honestly, after Bento messed around, he should have just lost the first game. Now Bento's gonna Dragon Dance twice in front of a Vikavolt, and get Sticky Webbed. Oh wait, Bento survives Accelerock and goes for Earthquake. Hold up, this Dragonite can win. Oh, never mind, it's Life Orb. Wow, very greedy, very, very greedy. Nice. And Bento Terra Waters, which is illegal. So they decide to play it out, even though Bento should have lost the battle on the spot there, because he Terra Watered, which, you know, again, Terrastalization's not legal in this league, and Bento, you know, has a tendency to think he is funny and click the Terra button. But they decide to play it out anyway. I'm not gonna say no to that. So Sneasler is going to get a kill as webs go back up, and at this point Bento can't really switch around very much anymore, but Bento's going to try and switch around anyway. We go into low kicks on Earth Power, we take half of our HP, we're going to be slower, but for some reason Zera doesn't like it, even though, you know, it's not that bad, but it's okay. It was a crit Earth Power, so the second one probably wouldn't have killed, and that's good awareness by Zera. And Bento, for some reason, is just going to start switching all of his Pokemon because the AI in his brain has decided, sticky webs? What are sticky webs? Switch Pokemon, switch Pokemon, switch Pokemon, and Slowking wins the battle at this point. All Zera has to do is not sacrifice it for no reason. Sludge Bomb on the incoming Florges, Future Sight on the Florges. Florges might even be slower than the Slowking, provided it's not minimum speed. Why is the sun so goddamn cringe? That is what's going on with my tracking, just so you guys are aware. The sun is in my camera, and it is making my camera do very, very, not very based things. So I am going to simply move my tracking out of the sunlight, and, yeah, there we go. We have fixed the problem. So, I'm now going to be looking a little bit further this way, for the remainder of the video. Sorry about that, but it's okay. I have to. I don't know how Bento is still in this battle, but it's okay, because there's a Scarf Flygon in the back, and at this point, thanks to Web, Scarf Flygon wins the game. So, very cool. Bento gets a deserved loss after playing with his food in Game 1. And now let's see if he loses Game 3 as well. I hope so, to be honest. Because, let's be real, you know, why would you go into low kicks and let the Corviknight heal fully? Okay, now Sneasler lead versus Corviknight. Bento has not learned from his mistakes, goes for turn 1 close combat, and dies to Drill Peck. And at this point, Zera wins the game. Because Bento's best answer for all of Zera's Pokemon died on turn 1. And now Jolteon's going to click Shadow Ball on an incoming Slowking, and, you know, we get a drop, which isn't super needed. We're going to keep clicking Shadow Ball. We're going to get the drop on Flygon as well. The chances of both of those happening back-to-back is 1%. And Bento now is going to switch into Pelipper. We should really click Scald here, or Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is also completely acceptable. Hydro Pump does over half. We should keep clicking Hydro Pump. We missed the Hydro Pump on Iron Valiant, and that is very, very unfortunate. We get Spirit Breaked, dropping our special attack. We go for Hurricane. That still kills, even with the drop. This is an offensive Pelipper set. Lycanroc is going to come in to Accelerock us, and we decide that Low Kicks is the correct answer to put in front of a Rock-type attack. And we lose our Low Kicks as well. Now, Bento actually just loses the game. And Moonblast on Corviknight isn't going to do anything. We go for Wish, which is completely unnecessary. All of our Pokemon are at full health. Why would we over Wish? We try to Wish Pass into Pelipper. We get U-turned. Okay, so cool. Pelipper heals to full. Now what? There's a Vikavolt in, pressuring your Pelipper. Now you go into Florges. Webs are probably going to go up, but instead we have a Volt Switch crit, which is huge. Now Lycanroc with Iron Head's going to pick up the kill. And we just lose, right? We just lose. Like, what do we have for this? Well, we go into Dragonite, which is the incorrect answer. We get Accelerocked, and Bento is going to Dragon Dance in front of this thing, not knowing what the ability Multi-Skill actually does, and we lose our Dragonite for free as well. And this game is over. This game is over. There is no winning this game from this point. Corviknight's going to be put in front of a Jolteon. This time the Corviknight survives Thunderbolt easily, but we go for Shadow Ball instead, and we let it get off chip damage with Drill Peck. But really, it didn't matter, because Bento lost this game the second, you know, turn 1 happened. I don't know if you guys have ever seen an example of losing the game on the first turn, but that was it. Bento literally just sacrificing his whole Sneasler turn 1, worst possible play. He has no actual answers to the Vikavolt at this point. Like, Vikavolt wins the game, Lycanroc wins the game with Accelerock. Like, there's no winning if you're Bento here. There's no win. And Bento is just going through the motions at this point. Sure, he picks up a kill, making this battle look a lot closer than it was, but really the game was over from turn 1, especially with Scarf Flygon in the back. Alright, and Bento with the no GG afterwards. I don't know why Bento decided to throw as hard as he did, but he did. So, yeah. Very cool. Good match. Good match. Next, we have Plasma versus Timba. Now, Plasma, probably a clear favorite here. Timba's not bad. He's got a very good team. That being said, it's Plasma, and Plasma's got Kartana and Landorus T, which are, you know, demonic sets. Now, let's see how this goes. We have lead Landorus T versus the lead Nidoqueen. Now, this is actually really bad for Timba because Nidoqueen does not survive Earthquake, and we just go for Ice Beam. And sure, we pick up good damage on the Mega Venusaur, but now it's going to Mega Evolve in Synthesis as we go for Earth Power, and guess what happens? Our Nidoqueen is now going to get seeded. We go for Ice Beam. This thing has Thick Fat. I don't know if Timba knows what Thick Fat does, but Ice Beam is never the click over, you know, the move we went for. Now we go into Heatran. We miss a Magma Storm, as, you know, Timba typically does. And we go for another Magma Storm. We get some chip damage off on the Swampert, and we are on a balloon, which is very nice. Swampert's going to now flip turn out, popping our balloon, and we get up rocks. And I don't know what Timba's doing with this Heatran, but we are gonna just sacrifice it to the Venusaur. Now we go into Raikou, and we know that the Venusaur has Thunderbolt, and we decide to click, or not Thunderbolt, Earth Power, and we decide to click Thunderbolt anyway. I don't know, like, look at Plasma's team, tell me what Pokemon Thunderbolt hits. That's all I have to say. What Pokemon what Thunderbolt switch in? Like, why would he go for Thunderbolt? That has to have been a misclick. Anyway, at this point, Timba has probably lost this game. Purely based on, you know, the momentum and how poorly it is going at the moment. We have Slack Off using Torch Song, Unaware Skeledirge. Ice or Surf is going to not 2-hit KO, and we're going to get off a lot of chip with the Skeledirge on the Tapu Fini, which has limited or no recovery because of, you know, the unfortunate move pool of Tapu Fini. And we have a Smart Strike on the switch to that Tangrowth, and that did nothing. But it's okay, because we're going to go for Corkscrew Crash. Tangrowth is going to use Earthquake, which does not do very much to Kartana. And based on how little those attacks did, this is probably, yet again, or I don't know if it's yet again at this point, but it's probably Timid Kartana with less attack than it has speed, so it can boost its speed when it gets a KO. So, yeah, that's a cool little set, I suppose. We have Tangrowth coming back in on the Swampert. Swampert's going to be faster, use Flip Turn. Venusaur is going to come in, and we go for Hidden Power Ice. And sure, good prediction, I suppose, but Venusaur is just better than Tangrowth. You're going to lose your Tangrowth to a Stab Sludge Bomb. And this time we pick the move that kills. Latias comes in. This is probably Specs, so we have to switch, but we really should have just done that the first time. What were we Thunderbolting? Once again, what were we Thunderbolting? Now we have to sack Fini, and guess what? This is a Scarf Latias with Psychic, so it is faster than the remainder of his team, picks up a kill on 3 Pokemon, and in comes the Nidoqueen, and we just die. So, yeah, I gotta say, pretty poorly piloted there by Timba, but it's okay. Game 2 is still winnable. Let's see what happens here. So this time we lead the Balloon Heatran versus the Swampert, and we go into our Fini. Let the rocks go up. We're gonna go for a Moonblast, get off some chip, flip turn out into Venusaur. And yeah, we are forced out here. That being said, we decide to stay in and use Ice Beam, which is... I mean, if you're fishing for the freeze, then, like, sure. But, like, beyond that, that's just never a play. Now we go into our Nidoqueen, which we have not learned actually defeats this Venusaur. We get up a Toxic Spike. We take 1,000,000 damage from Earth Power. Now we need to go for, you know, Hurricane. But we instead set up Toxic Spikes and then defog off our own Toxic Spikes. Yikes. Okay, Yeah, I don't know what line Timba was thinking of. Probably a line of cocaine. That's probably what the play was there. Um, and yeah, we're gonna just let the Venusaur do so much for no reason at this point. We're gonna go into the Heatran, get Leech Seeded, which doesn't pop our balloon, but, you know, it's just so rough at this point. We're gonna get off a Magma Storm on the Skeledirge, and with Leech Seeds up, this Heatran doesn't win. We have Earth Power though, so that's good. We're gonna get Shadow Balled. Crit doesn't really matter because I am sure that this Skeledirge also has Earth Power in the back. We do not pick up the kill with our own Earth Power first, so Heatran's gonna die, and the thing gets freed from Magma Storm, meaning we lose momentum on this U-turn. Because U-turn picks up the kill. In comes the Raikou, and Swampert counters that. Swampert is now going to flip turn out, and we are going to just go into Venusaur, and yeah, Sludge Bomb does 1,000,000. We are still using Hidden Power Ice on a Venusaur, and this time the Venusaur, predicting a switch, I suppose, goes for Leech Seeds. We get off another Hidden Power Ice. Now we get into the Raikou on Sludge Bomb. And presumably here we clicked, you know, Extra Sensory, which is actually a good click in this point. Now we have Tapu Fini on Landorus, as Landorus doesn't just go for Earthquake. In comes the Timid Scarf Kartana, or not Timid Scarf, the Timid Kartana with the Swords Dance, and it's going to pick up a kill, get a speed boost after Swords Dancing, and I think that's a game ender. I think this ends the game. In comes the Raikou, dice the Leaf Blade, in comes the Tornadus, and out comes the Z-move, which will kill the Tornadus. Now, we had Tangrowth, but Tangrowth was very low, and we are going to go into every Pokemon that's not Tangrowth anyway, and we were Hidden Power Ice, not Hidden Power Fire, I am pretty sure. Smart Strike, yeah, and we are going for Earthquake, so based on that, we're Hidden Power Ice. Even then, I think Hidden Power Ice does more damage than Earthquake because Kartana has base 31 special defense. So, yeah, the cart picks up the sweep, and Timba does not go into his only Pokemon that survives the sweep until it's literally the end of the battle. So, Plasma's gonna be able to get a win there. So we have a couple more matches. We have Spirit versus Mr. Titan T. Now, Spirit at this point was still on the stall team. However, the team has dramatically changed since. So Mr. Titan T is going to lead with Rock's Iron Treads as we go for a knockoff. And, you know, we knock off the boots of the Mandibuzz. Now we are going to go for Stealth Rock again. We get Foul Played. It does quite a bit, I would say. It's okay, though. We have Rotom Wash coming in now. This is free momentum. This is a free Volt Switch, but instead we are going to Trick on the Goldengo, which is immune to Trick. I don't know why we wouldn't go for offensive momentum by using Volt Switch, and now we go for Toxic on a substitute Dragon Dance Baxcalibur, and this is probably going to just end the game, if I had to guess. And it's going to get up another Dragon Dance, and yeah, Mr. Titan T applied no pressure whatsoever, and I think that this is a 6-0. Glaive Rush. Okay, Buzzwole survives those. Okay, very good, very good. We do heal off with the sub, but Z-move. And Sub-Zero Slammer picks up the kill on Buzzwole, and Rotom's gonna come in, and guess what's happening? It's another substitute. We're gonna go for Volt Switch, doesn't break the sub, and Chansey ain't the answer. Chansey ain't the answer. Glaive Rush crits, picks up the kill. Iron Treads comes in on the Glaive Rush. And now we can't click. Now we're gonna just keep clicking Glaive Rush, which I'm not sure what it does, to be honest. But Glaive Rush. And also, guess what, chat? Glaive Rush. And yeah, every Pokemon dies because Mr. Titan T managed to fumble the entire bag on turn, what was it, 3? We tricked, let's see here, we tricked Chansey in on Baxcalibur, and yeah, there's the substitute. Now, I can't say that it's entirely his fault on turn 7, but letting it Dragon Dance and using Wish, that was terrible. After the sub, you needed to go into something to, prevent it from killing you. You needed to just hard switch into Buzzwole there. You cannot let this thing set up. But instead, we go for Wish, which is the absolutely wrong play. And we go into Tapu Lele because, that switch is clearly, the answer after, Dragon Dancing a second time. Yeah, clearly. Yeah, no, that was a huge, huge blunder. That was 3 turns in a row of, like, the worst possible thing you could have done. And as a result, you just get 6-0'd by a Baxcalibur. So, that's game 1. Let's see if Mr. Titan T game 2 is able to prevent the Baxcalibur from 6-0ing his team. Alright, we have yet another lead Mandibuzz situation. Or not really lead Mandibuzz. It's okay. This time the Rotom's going to Volt Switch. We have very good offensive momentum. We go into Volcarona and Thunder Wave. Now, we're going to Fiery Dance because we're scared of Encore, I suppose. That's good. It is correct to be scared of Encore, but that being said, it's Thunder Wave, Wish, Protect, Stealth Rock, probably. And we're going to go for another Fiery Dance. We get to plus 1.5. Or just plus 1, and we're going to go for Giga Drain on the Dozo. Dozo's going to Liquidation us, do 1,000,000 damage, meaning this is probably some sort of offensive Dozo. And we do not we get paralyzed, meaning we do not pick up the kill after the first, what's it called? And Mr. Titan T has never learned just to stop clicking Trick. You should always Volt Switch here. Like, you get free momentum. Why are you trying to trick? What are you trying to trick? Like, what are you trying to trick? Just kill the Dondozo with Thunderbolt. Like, what are you trying to trick? The backs? The Z move backs? You can't trick a Z Crystal. This is immune. You can't trick Mega Stones. Like, what are you trying to trick? Stop trying to trick. Stop. Like, why didn't you learn from the first game? Learn. Do something. Click a move that does something. Anyway, I don't know if this is a 6-0 yet, but my god, has Mr. Titan T made this hard for himself. It's okay, though. Zard's going to come in. This is Zard X, if I remember correctly. So are we going to Mega Evolve? We are, and we are going to go for Earthquake, which is not boosted by Tough Claws. We should have probably Dragon Danced, but it's okay, because Dondozo walls us for 1,000,000 years anyway. Buzzwole's going to bulk up, as Dondozo's probably Rest Sleep Talk. Yeah, it's Rest Sleep Talk. Probably Curse Liquidation. Now we go for Ice Punch. Now Mr. T goes for Ice Punch on the water type. For what? Like, for what reason? Like, what are you trying to catch? The Mandibuzz? Like, you don't 2-hit KO it. Anyway, we're having a battle of the setup Pokemon, and we're still going for Ice Punch for some reason, but we get a freeze, because, never punished, I suppose. And this Dondozo is now going to get Drain Punched for 13%. Oh my god. This has to be physically defensive Dondozo. Like, there's no way that shit did only 13%, right? It's okay, though. We go into Lele. Lele is probably going to, threaten this thing out. We go for Energy Ball. That is just enough to kill the Screamtail. In comes Goldengo, and we just go hard into Charizard, because, we can survive another Shadow Ball, but not a crit. Now Charizard's gonna Dragon Dance on the frozen Dondozo, and we go for Dragon Claw, do 33%. Oh my god, that's non-existent damage. We go for another one, get up another solid amount of chip, and luckily for Spirit, the Thaw happens. That being said, if the Thaw doesn't happen there, we do have a Mega Lopunny, presumably with, like, Fake Out in the back. In comes the Baxcalibur. This time, Mr. Titan T has learned and used Volt Switch, and we're going to get out of there. We're going to go into Goldango, because we do not want to just lose our Baxcalibur for free. We get off a Psychic-type attack, and Goldango is going to recover as Rotom comes in, and at this point, Mr. Titan T's answers to this Goldango are basically gone. We go into Buzzwole, which we know has Ice Punch and also Drain Punch, so Goldango realistically walled this thing, but Mr. Titan T went into it anyway, and Goldango is going to switch out of fear, and this is going to let the Dondozo come in, And then we have Tapu Lele on the now sleeping Dozo as we go for Hidden Power Fire, and then we decide that Hidden Power Fire is no longer good enough. We switch into Rotom, we get a Volt Switch off. Now we get into Iron Treads as this thing goes for U-turn. We are not Rocky Helmet though, and in comes the Lopunny to be dummy thick and also to use Close Combat and pick up the kill. We realistically should not have gone Buzzwole here, especially since, you know, Tapu Lele was better. And Mr. Titan T agrees, I suppose, and then lets the Lopunny Healing Wish into Goldango, which, guess what? At full health, beats the Tapu Lele one-on-one. And yeah, Mr. Titan T loses from this point, because you really needed that Lele alive for the Baxcalibur in the back. And now Baxcalibur's going to come in. We get off the Volt Switch because I guess Spirit was scared of losing the Goldango. And now Mr. Titan T is not going to have the awareness to switch, surely. And, you know, why not just go into Rotom and go for Volt Switch? Why not just go into Rotom and go for Volt Switch? Why not just go into Rotom and go for Volt Switch? Anyway, this Dozo is unaware. I don't know if you guys are aware, but this Dozo is unaware, and that's why, you know, Bulk Up didn't do anything. And now this thing... Okay, and now at this point, after it starts setting up, Mr. Titan T is like, oh, wait, maybe I should switch. And we decide to try and go for Trick again, because Mr. Titan T does not learn. He doesn't learn. There is no learning. In that brain, there is no learning. And yeah, this game was playable. Like, all you had to do was Volt Switch into the Buzzwole on the Baxcalibur, and then suddenly this game's completely playable, right? Dozo has to come back in, and then if you're, you know, if you're aware at this point, you switch into the Buzzwole, and like, it's just, it's like when Dozo comes in, you Volt Switch, you get Buzzwole in, and then he has to keep switching around. Like, you just keep... This is still winnable by Mr. T if he plays halfway decently. Halfway. Like, halfway. Like, I'm not even saying you have to be perfect here. I'm just saying you have to have the reasonable, like, decision-making to switch. So, like, look, Bax comes in, you go for Trick again, which is... There's no... That's the worst play. Stop clicking it. Stop. Like, what are you trying to trick? What are you trying to trick? What Pokemon are you trying to trick here? Why do you need to get rid of your item? Hit him! Hit him! All of his Pokemon die to electric moves! Hit him! Hit him! Anyway, Buzzwole picks up a kill with the Drain Punch, and now in comes, you know, a bunch of switches, and like I said, Ice Punch doesn't kill after a curse. And guess what's roosting in front of us? This Mandibuzz. And we are bulk up with no good moves. And we're gonna just let this Mandibuzz presumably toxic us, right? But the Mandibuzz is going for foul play. I'm not even entirely sure why. It's okay though, it can always roost. But I guess we're just gonna sack it. Sure, I guess. This brings in what at this point? The Goldango? Are we throwing? Is this a throw? No, Goldango walls this because, you know, it's Ice Punch and Drain Punch. So Goldango is going to win the game because it gets to heal to full because Mr. Titan T doesn't have the awareness to stop clicking Trick. Oh, but wait, we get a freeze. Hold on, we're carried by RNG. Surely this Goldango never thaws, right? Surely it never thaws. Surely it never thaws, right? Surely this Goldango does not thaw, right? Well, we're going to go into Dundozo because Mr. Titan T is obviously choice based on the fact that he has tried to click Trick 6 times this game. And yeah, we're just going to switch into Dozo, and since, you know, he's locked into a move, that move being Hydro Pump, now we are going to just stay in on Goldango as Mr. Titan T has one Brain Cell, and that Brain Cell is Use Trick. So now Goldango is going to get off a Shadow Ball because it gets to thaw for free, because Mr. Titan T has spent 6 turns doing nothing. Now we're going to make it rain, and at this point we can just sack the Dundozo to bring back in the Goldango, and Mr. Titan T terastallizes and clicks Trick because he has no brain. There is no brain in there. There is literally no thought. There isn't a thought. Yeah. So Mr. Titan T has continually proven to me that he is the worst player skill-wise in this draft league. So that's very, very cool. Let's get into the final match of week 2. So I can, put myself out of my misery. We have Ibe versus Juvenile. And we have Jirachi lead versus Excadrill lead. Now, Earthquake is a very good move, and we just go for it. Jirachi survives, which implies that this is a physically defensive Jirachi. Now we're going to go for Iron Head, not get a flinch, as Juvenile goes for a Rapid Spin, getting rid of the rocks. And we are faster, but instead of picking up the kill with Earthquake, we decide to go for rocks of our own, and now we pick up the kill with Earthquake. I think this invites in a Moltres. Okay, sure, we get off our rocks again. Moltres is just going to defog here. We get burned by Flame Body, but instead of going for okay, well, we lose our Moltres for free, and the rocks are going to be a permanent problem now. Diancie could be on Mystical Fire for the Scizor, but luckily for us, we have the awareness to, realize that the Scizor is going to Mega Evolve and Bullet Punch us, which would kill. Now Hydreigon's going to come in on Claude. Claude is going to sit there, and Hydreigon's going to go for Flamethrower twice. We realistically could go into a Pokemon that has a stab super effective move for this, such as Victini or Kiruim, but instead we are going to let this thing recover and do half of our HP from toxic damage, and now we go into Victini. We have a double into Samurott, and Ibe does predict the Bolt Strike, and we go into Zeraora as the Tapu Koko goes for a Volt Switch, and the Zeraora is on a balloon, but luckily Ibe is double switch move, and now is going to pop the balloon and get in Clodsire, as Clodsire is going to now protect. Zeraora goes for knockoff as opposed to switching into a Pokemon with a stab super effective move, and we're going to basically lose our Zeraora to an Earthquake. Now we go into Hydreigon, presumably thinking, oh yeah, this thing can't hurt Hydreigon, it's immune to Earthquake, right? Well, guess what, Juvenile? You are not a very good offensive player because, again, you have a whole Victini and a whole Kiruim to kill this thing in one hit. But instead, we are going to lose our Hydreigon for free. Yeah, and now the Clodsire's back at full HP. Now Victini comes in, uses Zen Headbutt, picks up the flinch, and shows Juvenile exactly how dumb he is. Very good. And Zen Headbutt is going to now pick up the kill. Now we could just go for Bolt Strike. Aqua Jet's not going to do very much. And guess what? The Victini is also Pasho Berry regardless. So, we didn't run a single calc, but we knew that we needed to be immune to water-type attacks. And luckily for us, Victini is going to do enough damage between Scizor and Tapu Koko to where this game is over, despite the fact that Juvenile may have made some of the worst plays I have ever seen. But it's okay, because now we're going to sack Diancie, and now we're going to bring in Zeraora, and we're going to miss a play rough, and now Ibe can win. Ibe can win. Ibe can win. Ibe can win. Never mind, Victini survives. And yeah, there's no missing on V-Create because of the ability Victory Star boosting his accuracy. And Juvenile makes game 1 a win, despite the fact that, yikes. We lose 2 whole Pokemon for no reason, and we still win. Very cool. Alright, let's see game 2. This time the Manaphy shows up, Manaphy being an excellent Pokemon with Tail Glow, and not something that you see every day. We have good lead for Juvenile. We go into Grimmsnarl on the Balloon Zeraora, and Prankster Reflect goes up, which is very good. I assume that we're going to go for the second screen, but we don't do that. We are not, sauce on the side screens lead, or Grimmsnarl, I suppose. And after 3 Plasma Fists go off, the Scizor is going to come in and Swords Dance, and then switch out, because we are scared of fire moves. So we go into Manaphy, and we take a Dark Pulse, and then we take a Draco and die. Now Juvenile is in a fantastic situation, as all of the Pokemon that resist our Victini are gone. Smile. Except for, the 2 other Pokemon that resist Victini. But we're not going to talk about those. Anyway, Samurott's going to get Draco'd, take less than half, meaning that this is more than likely an Assault Fist. And we have a double switch for no reason. Despite the fact that Samurott was in a good position here, Kiruim's going to come in, take Dazzling Gleam, go for Flash Cannon, get the special defense drop, proving that Juvenile once again is carried by RNG. And we go for Ancient Power on the switch to Moltres, which is inexplicable. Why are we running Ancient Power? But it's okay, because it worked out. And yeah, guess what? Second Ancient Power goes up. We pick up the kill on Moltres. Light Screen goes up. We're gonna Earth Power the Scizor, which is not very good, but it's okay, because it doesn't matter. At this point, IEP's team has taken way too much damage to survive this Victini. And guess what? Victini comes in, uses a V-Create. Samurot's gonna come in. All we have to do is literally sacrifice a Pokemon. We could even just hard go into, you know, the Zeraora even, and then just bring back in Victini and win that way. Like, Bolt Strike kills this, and then V-Create kills the Tapu Koko. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, at least Juvenile did not fuck up this one. At least he did not severely fuck up this one, right? And Juvenile's gonna get the win over IEP. Very, very good. It was a hard matchup for IEP. IEP doesn't exactly have a great team versus, you know, Mega Diancie and the Ice Dragon Kiruim, but that's okay because, you know, it happens to all of us. And yeah, that is actually all of the matches from week 2. That's very good stuff, right? Now, there were a bunch of free agent moves and changes that happened, but at this point, it happened so long ago that I don't even really feel like covering them. All you need to know is, I think after this week, I don't remember which week it was, but someone completely restructured their team, and, also, if you've noticed, there was no match between Otto and MyFate. Well, the reasoning for that is because MyFate dropped from the league. So Otto gets the free win. Now, that's cool and all, but MyFate did end up getting a replacement in the next week. So expect, you know, perhaps a match from that. I don't remember if the replacement ended up playing the week 3 match or not. That being said, Otto also ended up dropping later, so it kind of evens out, I suppose. Yeah, that concludes the week 2 recap, and yeah, there's really not much else to say. I hope you all enjoyed the clown fiesta of gameplay that we have just witnessed, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.